So good morning, everybody. We welcome you to the December 17th, 2024 meeting of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. At this time, I'd like to ask Reverend Dukes to come forward and give us an invocation, please.
We begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Heavenly Father, as we gather today on the cusp of Christmas, we come before you with grateful hearts, mindful of the spirit of goodwill and peace that fills this season. You declare to us in Psalm 32, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Direct the thoughts, words, and actions of this meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Reveal to us the path that aligns with your will, and grant discernment to know what is right. Without you, we can do nothing. We humbly rely, therefore, on your guidance in every discussion, in every decision. May those decisions reflect the needs of the constituents of our county, especially those experiencing hardship and difficulties at this time of year. And may those decisions bring forth positive change and continued goodwill in our community. May this be our prayer today and always, that you will instruct and counsel all gathered in this place, leading them towards the best outcome according to your plans. Finally, Lord, bless the clarity of thought and strength of character of these commissioners as they strive to serve the people they represent. And may the spirit of Christmas inspire them and all who serve the people of Calvert County to act with generosity and kindness today, tomorrow, and always. We ask this in the name of Jesus, whose birth we prepare to celebrate. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father. And Father comes to us from Jesus the Divine Word Church in Huntingtown. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
That brings us to approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda as presented?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda with the removal of item number 4.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve the amended agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So that'll bring us to public service announcements. I have a few.
Merry Christmas. How are you?
Morning.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Didn't mean to interrupt your proceedings, but Santa wanted to come by and say hi to the commissioners and give them a little something because we have the best commissioners in the world. We thank you for everything you're doing for us. We continue appraising you. You just do wonderful things. So I'm not going to ask you what you want for Christmas. Probably couldn't get it, but I'm going to bring you something anyhow. Here we go. Let me start with, maybe you can help me.
Yes, of course.
There.
Well, hello, Santa. How are you
Hello,
today?
how are you?
Thank you,
Thank
Santa.
you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't want to give you my bells.
No.
Oh, I'd love to have them though.
Oh, no.
That Santa's just destroyed it. There we
Thank
go.
you,
There we go.
Santa.
I'm going to give this one to you.
It's got extra coal in it.
Extra cold.
Extra coal in my bag. Thank you, Santa.
guys.
Thank you, Santa.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Thank
going
you,
to come
sir.
behind, get my picture taken with all y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
The elves would love to see that.
Yeah, I'll say, why don't you guys come right out front and we'll take a quick picture with
Santa.
yeah, Santa.
We should get Santa.
How you been, man?
How we doing? Good. Good.
Good.
How we doing, boy?
Good.
Okay. Everyone say snickerdoodle. Santa's favorite cookie. Can't get too many of them, so everyone remember that from underneath the tree. Okay? Merry Christmas. Thank you. And have a Merry Christmas, buddy. Thank you.
Great job the other night.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Santa.
Merry Christmas. See you all in about 9 days. Merry Christmas and congratulations.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tori Boschert, as some of you may know, and I have a special reading of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" for you all. "'Twas the night before Christmas in Calvert's broad span. Not an osprey was stirring by sea or by land. The agendas were posted on the website with care in hopes the commissioners soon would be there. The residents nestled all snug in their bed while visions of progress danced in their heads. And President Hance, with his gavel in hand, prepared to lead discussions both minor and grand. Earl Buddy Hance, a farmer by trade, led with wisdom, decisions well weighed. He knew every acre, each road and each bend, committed to service until journey's end. District 1's Mike Hart, with passion so bright, crafting Barrel 9 spirits, a Lusby delight. In business and growth, he saw steady gains, ensuring prosperity for all who remained. Mark Seacock Sr. from the District of 2 brought wisdom and balance in all he would do, championing causes from bay to the shore, standing for families and communities' core. In District 3, Catherine Grasso stood tall, advocating for justice and equity for all. A retired federal worker serving with glee, her commitment to citizens as strong as can be. At large and in charge with vision so wide, Todd Ireland, a former lawman with honor and pride. His background in service, a guiding light, ensuring safety and trust both day and night. Across departments, administration stood strong. Mark Willis, county admin, worked all day long. A Marine Corps veteran, disciplined and keen, leading with principles, steadfast and serene. Beside him, Linda Turner, poised and astute. As deputy administrator, she strengthened the route. Her diligence steady, her guidance sincere. She worked for the people with grace and with care. The county attorneys, a vigilant team, ensuring that justice upheld the regime. John B. Norris III, with legal insight so bright, guided their efforts from morning till night. Pamela Lucas, ally of Parks and Rec crews, with her by their side, success was their muse. Her expertise and kindness helped with their visions, bringing success to CCPR's missions. John Mattingly's wisdom, both steady and wise, once framed by long hair, now freshly revised. Together they worked, a formidable force, navigating laws, charting the course. The moon on the breast of the new fallen leaves gave a luster of midday to the commissioner's eaves, when what to the public's keen eye should appear but a live-streamed session, transparent and clear. With Buddy at the helm so firm and steady, they knew in a moment the team was ready. More rapid than eagles, his colleagues they came, and he whistled and called them by name. Now Hart, now Cox, now Grasso, and Todd, onward together, with strength and will trod, to the top of the docket, through issues great and small. Now deliberate, deliberate, deliberate all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle and soar to the sky, so up to the courthouse the commissioners they flew, with a chamber full of topics and public input too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the floor the prancing and pawing of each commissioner at the door. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the agenda items came with a bound. They were dressed in their suits from their head to their feet, their resolve unwavering, their demeanor discreet. Bundles of notes they had neatly compiled, their dedication clear, their focus beguiled. Their eyes, how they twinkled, their insights so bright. Their smiles brought warmth on this wintry night. With pencils in hand, they noted each plea, a symbol of governance for all to see. They spoke not a word, but went straight to their work and filled all the motions, then turned with a jerk, and laying their fingers aside of their notes and giving a nod, the session they closed. From Lusby to Dunkirk, from Prince Frederick's glow to the shores of Solomon's where soft breezes blow. From Huntingtown's heart to St. Leonard's embrace, to Port Republic's charm and Chesapeake Beach's grace. In North Beach's warmth and Brooms Island's cheer, Barstow and Owings brought holiday near. Calvert Beach sparkled with festive delight, while Drum Point stood peaceful under the starlight. In Long Beach, waves dance to a wintertime tune. In Chesapeake Ranch Estates, where under the moon, the old airport's runway stretched silent and still, a testament to journeys and dreams yet fulfilled. With the year's work concluded, their mission clear, they spoke of tomorrow with hope and cheer. As Buddy sprang to his truck, to his team gave a nod. Homeward they journeyed, beneath the stars applaud, but you'd hear them exclaim as they drove out of sight, "Happy governance to all, and to all, a good night." Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Mark, I blame you.
I'm so glad to have this. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was fabulous.
She's being written up later, Commissioner.
I smell Mark Willis all over that.
No.
That was all her.
That was her.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I know you're shy, so.
Tori, how long did it take you to write that?
Over a few days, I was fiddling with it,
That's-
that
trying to
based
make
on?
it perfect,
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
just for you all.
Thank
This is very
you.
cool.
So
Thank
you all
you.
have to stay in perpetuity, so I don't have to make any changes.
That's not gonna happen. Be
Thank
prepared
you
for
all.
change.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Back to work.
Grinch, paint your face green.
Now, how are you gonna top that?
I know, I'm done.
Yeah, you just might as well thank you, good night, have a good day, good Merry Christmas.
So we do have a couple public service announcements. We do want to pass along our condolences to Director Julie Oberg, Director of Economic Development, who lost her mother last week. And just want to remind everybody that the zoning ordinance public comment period ends on December 20th. And have to have it in by 4:30 on December the 20th. The Planning Commission is going to hold a special meeting on Monday, December 30th at 7 p.m. at the Harriet E. Brown Community Center to consider comments received by that deadline and discuss the proposed changes. There's a new revised draft of the Prince Frederick Town Center Plan. The new 2024 Prince Frederick Town Center Master Plan is available for public review on the county website. The Planning Commission will discuss that draft with planning and zoning staff at their next meeting, which is this Wednesday, tomorrow, December 18th at 7 p.m. at the Harriet Brown Community Center. Just want to give everybody an update. Yes, you know, we had authorized a performance audit of the Calvert County Public Schools. That was supposed to be to us in December, but due to some issues, that has been postponed until March 31st. So just want everybody to be aware of that. And just with the holiday season coming, want to make sure everybody's safe. You know, it can be a time where there's a lot of partying and indulgence, and we just want to make sure that you're safe and that you make sure you have a designated driver if so needed. If you can also, the Maryland Department of Transportation is offering a $20 ride share credit to Marylanders through the Lyft app using the code Market Plan 2024, and that you can get that credit towards your, if you have to buy a ride. Just please, as you're driving around, slow down, be careful, drive safe. You know, we have a lot of accidents on our roads here in Calvert County. We just want everybody to be safe during this holiday season. And pet owners, just make sure your pets are safe around your holiday. As you know, some of our holiday decorations can be very hazardous and dangerous for pets. Just want to make sure. My dog tries to eat the popcorn off the tree, so I have to put up a fence to keep him from doing that. And I think we have a guest dog here today. Don't we?
Yes.
Coming up.
He's a happy dog. Shoo.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm
Morning.
Randy Hood, supervisor at the Winnekelly Animal Shelter, and today I have Sheba with us. She is roughly 12 years old, but she doesn't act like it at all.
Wow.
She is very spunky. She's been with us for about 7 weeks now. She loves toys. She does okay with dogs. She's a little selective, I would say. unsure how she is with cats. She's lived with kids of all ages and does well. But yeah, she is.
How did we get her?
I think it was an animal control case. She
Okay.
ended up with us, but she was signed over to us. So
I was
now
gonna say
she's
12
ours.
years is a long time to, you know,
Yeah.
for somebody to give their dog up. That would be.
Yeah, I don't think it was willing at first, but she is with us now, and she's doing great. She, like I said, she's very spunky, loves to play, loves to run. She was in foster for a little while, and they said it's like she's a 2-year-old dog.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so if anybody is looking for an older girl to just kind of hang out, and she loves to cuddle too. She'll, once she's calmed down, she'll just get right up in your lap. She wants to
That's
snuggle.
awesome.
So, but yeah, come on and adopt, foster, volunteer. We love it all. Donations
How
are
are we
welcome.
doing with pets right now?
We're doing okay. We're pretty full, both dogs and cats. But you know, we're steady getting them out, but getting them in just as much. So, but yeah, guinea pigs also. If anybody wants them.
Snake.
Just
Still
no
have the
snakes.
snake?
No snakes.
You have a snake, right?
Yeah.
Still there, huh?
It's in foster, but yes, we do still.
I know Commissioner Hart would like to sign up for foster care.
Okay. Yep. I will send you paperwork right over. Yeah.
If I had a big farm, I'd take them all, I tell you, except for that snake.
What's wrong with it? Keep the
We
mice
got
away.
gecko. We got a water dragon. She's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that is one happy dog.
She is. She's very happy. Even being in a shelter, she's not one of those ones you look at and it's sad, but she's happy. Doesn't matter where she's at. She's
Yeah.
just, she's a good girl. So
Hart, you should take that dog home.
Man, I'd take them all. I'd take them all. You know how much I love dogs.
yes, we do.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, thank you for bringing her in.
Yes,
Thank
have
you.
a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you.
And if you are interested in an animal or you want to volunteer at the shelter, you can call 410-535-7387. And
Marty, that might be a good fit for you, sir.
so that concludes all my public service announcements today. So the next item on the agenda is it's time of the year. We do election of officers for the Board of County Commissioners. Mr. County Attorney, I think that's your job.
Thank you, sir. We're going to ask for nominations for the president. Is there anyone who'd like to make a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Hance to remain in office as president.
Okay. Any others? We're going to close the nominations, being just one nomination. President Hance will be the board president until elections next time.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So the next item is to elect the vice president, or is there a nomination for vice president?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Todd Island to Vice President.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I guess that means you're vice president, Commissioner Ireland.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is the ceremony for swearing in of some new deputies. Sheriff Cox.
Thank you, Commissioners. Merry Christmas, everyone. That was pretty cool this morning. Very delightful in this time of season. But if I had deputies come right behind me, thank you for allowing us to do this, to introduce not only to you guys, but the citizens of Calvert County. 31 weeks these deputies have put in the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and the citizens that they serve. So we want to say thank you for allowing us to do the badge pinning and the swearing in oath with Clerk of Circuit Court, Ms. Kathy Smith. And yeah, they're a great bunch. I'm lucky to have them. And they will be graduating this Friday at Chopticon High School at 6 p.m. And then they'll be hitting our training program and right on FTO. So just want to say thank you, great bunch. And if you guys would like to introduce yourself.
Jake Angel. Chris Blackistone. Nicholas Morgul. Nathan Roby.
So Commissioner Hart, Deputy Roby is a Patuxent High School grad. So
Oh, very cool.
next to the helmet, it's very fitting. Two Huntington High School graduates, two worked from our detention center, and Mr. Blackenstone is a retired PG firefighter, so he brings a lot of experience to us, not only as a deputy, but also as a fireman as well. So
Great.
we're lucky to have him.
Great.
Good morning. Happy holidays to everyone.
Morning.
Can I have you raise your right hands? Okay, and as I said before, we're going to start by stating your name. I
I, Jake Angel. I, Nick Morgul. I, Nathan Roby.
do promise or declare
Do promise or declare
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of Deputy Sheriff for Calvert County
execute the office of Deputy Sheriff for Calvert County
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this state,
and laws of the state,
and that I will not,
and that I will not,
for lucre or malice,
for lucre or malice,
delay any person
delay any person
applying to me
applying to me
for any business
for any business
belonging to the office
belonging to the office
that I officiate in,
that I officiate in,
and that I will not directly or indirectly
and that I will not directly or indirectly
ask, take, exact, demand,
ask, take, exact, demand,
receive from, or charge to
receive from, or charge to
any such person
any such person
to my own use
to my own use,
any fee or reward
any fee or reward
whatsoever for any services
whatsoever for any services
that I may do
that I may do
as deputy of said office,
as deputy of said office,
and that in making out the office fees,
and that I'm making out the office fees,
I will not wittingly or willingly
I will not wittingly or willingly
charge other or higher fees
charge other or higher fees
than are allowed by law.
than are allowed by law.
Congratulations.
All right, that concludes the swearing in. Y'all did good. Now we're going to move on to our badge pinning. And would I have retired Lieutenant Deputy Buckmaster come forward to pin Deputy Roby?
Is there a medic in the room?
Gotcha.
Could I have Corporal Hotchkiss come pin Deputy Morgul? And we could have Miss Blackenstone, PG Fire Lieutenant, please pin your husband, Deputy Blackenstone. She says she's lucky to have him back after 31 weeks, but. All right, and we'll have Captain Fridman's going to pin Deputy Angel. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Come up front, we're gonna get a picture.
Oh, shoot.
There you go. I like it. I like it. Katie. Lieutenant Blacksnow, do you want to come up?
Yeah, come on up. Yeah.
Matt. Sir, we have Matt Kershaw, the fireman too, is to represent his people.
Anywhere you want.
Whatever you can see the camera.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
That's not what you said.
There you go, smile.
There's an officer next to Commissioner Hanson, the last scoop of the.
I don't bite.
Commissioner Hanson, just do this with your head. Other way.
I think. Yeah.
Let's try and get one.
Congratulations.
So I just want to say that right now we have no vacancies in the sheriff's office for deputies.
That's
Great.
been a tough peak for all of us in law enforcement throughout the nation. So we recruit well. Like I said, the sheriff, I like to recruit our own here. We have good kids that live in our community. Why not keep them here? So
I think that's a testament to the community and the sheriff's office.
I appreciate all your support and help. Thank you.
You had 4 in and 4 out too, right?
You're welcome.
4 went in, 4 came out.
Correct.
Right.
We have 2 currently in our current class that just started December 6th.
Okay.
Excellent.
We have 2 in our class. So, yeah.
Good.
Good job.
Good job.
It's always a job recruiting and putting, like I said, 31 weeks is a long time
Getting them through.
these days. So
Yeah.
Maryland's very tough on regulations.
As they should be.
It's good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Sheriff.
you, Sheriff.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
See you,
Thank you,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So the next item on the agenda is citations. We have a citation for Mayor Mahoney. Introduce yourself.
I am Mayor Pat Irish Mahoney with 2 days left in his term.
Why are you smiling so much?
I don't have a clue.
So Mayor Mahoney, those of you that don't know, is the mayor of Chesapeake Beach, and he decided not to run again, and they're going to swear in a new mayor on Thursday night at Chesapeake Beach Town Council meeting. But we just want to recognize the mayor. He spent over 30 years of public service. That's quite a accomplishment.
Thank you,
To
Rick.
serve your community. It's tough. People think it's easy, but it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Phone rings, people have issues, they expect you to fix their issues. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. but to serve that long in public service is quite an accomplishment. So we wanted to take this opportunity to recognize you. So come on up, and I'm going to read this citation. Be it known that on behalf of the citizens of Calvert County, Maryland, and in recognition of his dedicated service to Chesapeake Beach, we honor Mayor Pat Irish Mahoney upon his retirement. Mayor Mahoney's commitment to the residents of Chesapeake Beach has been a testament to his leadership and steadfast devotion throughout his tenure. He championed local causes, enriched community life, and worked tirelessly to ensure a brighter future for all. Known as a strong advocate for open space programs and recreation, he prioritized accessible, vibrant outdoor spaces that residents and visitors alike could enjoy. His legacy includes numerous achievements from bolstering town development to enhancing public services, and his unwavering dedication has left a lasting impact on Chesapeake Beach. The Calvert County Board of Commissioners is pleased to confer upon you this Commissioner citation given our hands and sealed the 17th day of December 9th, 2024, signed by all five. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. It was 34 years, 37.
You're making me older.
Yeah, I know. It's a long time.
Thank you so much. We're going to get your picture right up front.
Mr. Harvey wants to say something.
I just wanted to say, Bob Harvey, State's Attorney. I wouldn't have quite put it that way, all those fancy words. I just want to say he's a damn good guy. He took a young, not so young, newbie to elected office, gave him a lot of good advice and guidance, and I greatly appreciate it. Wish you all the best. I think the county is losing a fine public servant, but I know you're not going anywhere, so wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I would like to echo Mr. Harvey's words. Fine job, Mayor. It's kind of interesting when you're new into politics and you're new as a sheriff, right? You got to work for the commissioners and two mayors, so it was kind of difficult. When you have that many people to answer to and trying to make life better for everybody that lives here. But I'd just like to say thank you for making that job easy and serving the citizens of Calvert County all these years you have. And I'm always here for you, and I think everybody in this room is too. And good luck. You always have my number.
Thank you, Mr.
Right?
Chair.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Sure.
Okay. I thought I was going to be looking here this way, but I can handle it, trust me. So I want to thank this current board for all the help that they've done for, my town and North Beach, because we all are one, to include Linda and Mark. Behind every great board is an even greater administration. John and Katie, thank you very much. When I first took office, the county commissioners were, and I had to write it down, Linda Kelly, Mary Krug, Mark Frazier, Hagner Mister, and Pat Bueller. Louis Goldstein was the state comptroller. And move forward 7 boards later, we have this group right here. And so I'm going to kind of turn my back because I have a few words that I want to say. Mark, thank you. I've gotten to know you these past 2 years, and it's been great. I appreciate your friendship and your help. Todd, you bested me in your last campaign. For those who don't know, Todd's campaign, he had a boat that went up and down the shores of my town with the colors of Ireland, vote for Ireland. And I got so much grief. It was like, why didn't Mahoney think of that? He ran 7 campaigns and he never thought of that, So you always outbest me there. Thank you, sir. Catherine, you are clearly the best commissioner the 3rd District has ever seen. You are with the people, but you enjoy being with the people, and it shows. And we love you up north, so thank you very much. And I'm going to say these 2 characters for last, because you always know who is a stand-up guy, stand-up gal when times are tough. And when both beach towns, me and Mayor Benton, went through a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, okay, it seemed like we didn't hear from anybody because we didn't hear from anybody except for Mike Hart and Buddy Hance.
You just blew Benton's head up like that.
I think Mayor Benton's a little bit better looking, but I'll leave it right there. But, during the pandemic, Buddy and I talked all the time, what was going on. Since Mayor Benton makes a good Irish coffee, Commissioner Hart would drive up and sit on his porch in the middle of winter, 6 feet apart. I guess that Irish coffee was pretty good, huh? Yeah. So these two guys stood by the beach towns during a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. So I really have to applaud them for being the ultimate public servants. So thank you, everybody. It's been an honor, a true honor. Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to shake your hand.
Hey, gonna miss you, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Go right up here.
We get paid by the
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Maybe pay reflects it. Oh, man. We're not gonna get any votes. Mayor, take care. Thank you, Mayor.
So the next citation is for Mary Beth Cook, who's retiring. Commissioner Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President.
If it's okay, I'm going to say a few words first.
Absolutely.
Mary Beth Cook, Director of Planning and Zoning, for another 3.5 weeks. I'd like to start off with saying, everyone knows I'm not from here, but 38 years ago, I moved to Maryland, and 33 years ago, my husband Jeff and I chose Calvert County to make this our home, to raise our 3 boys. All 3 boys were born here, and we raised them here through the Calvert County schools. I am very blessed to have been able to live and work in the county, being close to my boys while they were in school, far away from my family, but again, we made this our home. I'd like to thank my family for their love and support. I wasn't very good at leaving work at work. I took it home, and I think my husband would say that's an understatement. All the night meetings, all of the, just the complaining I did, and I couldn't have done it without all of them. I'd like to thank those who took a chance on me, who believed in me. The wonderful county staff, especially the hardworking, dedicated planning and zoning staff. Couldn't have done any of this without them. They are amazing. I'm proud to have consistently treated everyone fairly, be it a citizen, an engineer, a developer. Every project that came across my desk was done fairly and equitably. And I'd like to thank the commissioners for recognizing me today. Thank you very much.
So I'm gonna be honest, I never shut up. Everybody knows that. This was a tough one for me today. I have thought about it since I first saw it on there, and I don't want to be reading it today because I don't want you to go. And I was very, very lucky when I came here. I had a woman walk up to me and say, "You've never been on a board before, have you?" I didn't know it was that obvious, Sometimes, you don't know. And I did not have a clue what I was doing when I got here. And I was lucky enough to run into a fantastic staff. I mean, they very experienced and had no problem telling you what you needed to hear, not what you wanted to hear, which I deeply, deeply respect. Some people like to say that, but they don't truly mean that. And I remember Bert Baker gave me an education one time when I called her up, and I was just mad at the world. I couldn't believe this thing was happening. She said, "Mr. Commissioner, it's in your code. If you want it changed, then change the code." And I didn't like hearing that, but I knew Bert. I knew for a long time that she was telling me right, but sometimes we just don't like to hear that. And when I ran into Mary Beth, I don't know if I ever met anybody that knows that code better than you. the experience from Public Works there. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be people who hear me read this right now go, ah, ah, ah. Let me tell you what, that thing changes like the weather, whether we like it or not. The federal government, the state, the what have you, they put rules in. Hey, you get a new governor, you get a new set of rules sometimes. You get new legislators. But yet you have to deliver the message to people saying, well, I didn't have to do that before. If you had $1 for every time you heard that, oh my goodness. And I don't know if there's a more difficult department. That in Public Works, man, it's a coin toss. It is so difficult. And I'm very accessible, as I should be. And people know where to find me, and trust me, they do. Me and Commissioner Williams used to make a joke, public comment is not on Tuesday, it's on Wednesday at our business because people go to find you. If she was paid, for having to hear me all the time, 3 and 4 calls sometimes a day, and just talking me off the ledge for the hollering I just took, and Mary Beth would say, I got it. I'll call him. I'll talk to him, and giving me the confidence that what she told me I knew was correct. And so many people have come back to me and said, I was so mad at you guys, but I talked to Mary Beth and she made me understand that it's what the rules are. And, I looked at this and I'm like, there's not 30 years here. And I don't know that there ever is, this doesn't come close to touching what you've done. I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it over my 10 years to be able to pick up the phone anytime because they're standing in front of me. So when I call her, she's on the spot. They are standing right in front of me with the question. There's no prep of what the answer is going to be. So if she didn't know her job, it would come out so easy. And if she didn't know her job, I wouldn't call. And I've never had hesitation calling. And I don't know, I sat there, I don't know how to tell you how much I appreciate you. I just don't. I've struggled. Normally I don't have a problem with words. But I just can't thank you enough, Mary Beth. And I can't, before I read this, somebody you and I both respect a lot. And I think the best words that I ever heard when you get to this point in life is it's not retirements, it's just time to get on with your life's work. And you and I both know what I'm talking about when I say that and where it comes from. And I think it's true advice. And I'm sorry I didn't have any more of, I don't know. I'm just sorry to see you go. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for your family. I'm sure you guys are so sick of this stuff, it ain't even funny. I knew you got to go. Really? They called you about what? Really? I mean, I know, because I know, and so I'm sure you're glad to get her back. And
I've had that face a few times.
yeah, and I apologize for all any grief I would ever cause from all the questions, and you're like, oh, you're on with Mike? That's going to be a while.
Yeah, she got me roped into it too.
So I just want to say thank you to you and your family. And so I'm going to read this.
So before you read, Mike, I just want to add that, most of the calls we get are related to planning and zoning and inspections. People don't like rules. It's one side or the other. Why'd you let that happen? Why are you doing this? And we call and we beat up on Mary Beth because, we get the calls from constituents and the way they explain it to us, it does sound stupid and dumb. And we call Mary Beth and say, what are you doing? And she say, well, code, like Commissioner said, code says this. This is what I'm doing. Change the code if you don't like it. Well, most of those rules are in place for a reason. We just don't sit and make up rules, which some people say, you just made these rules up. They're there for a reason. They're there generally to protect your rights and your property. And Mary Beth's in a tough spot because we beat on her. I know she keeps a cardboard box in her office because I'm sure she thought she was getting fired at least once a month for this entire time. But, we greatly appreciate you taking our abuse besides the citizens' abuse because it's an important job.
Especially public hearings. I mean, you get a lot fired at you at those public hearings, and you handle it very well.
Yeah.
And that little one's going to love you at home.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I was giving Mark the business because of the size of a step, right? So this guy is up and he's like wearing me out. He's like, this is so stupid. I mean, they measured this step and it's just off a little bit, right? So I call Mark and I'm like, Mark, this is dumb. This is so stupid. You know, he's like, sir, there's an expectation of what people have in their mind what steps are, and that's why it is like this. Well, everybody knows I was a beer salesman for a long time. I've delivered stuff all over the place. So I've gone to so many places. You load beer up on a cart, and a lot of old places you roll down steps and all. So I had to go up this elevator to get some stuff, and I'm like, I've rolled down steps before. They weren't regulation. And here my old butt went flying down these steps. I kid you not, right? Face plant down there, a whole thing. That's not that long ago. I called Mark up and said, hey, I'm sorry. I wish those steps were those size. They were smaller than what the cart was, and the cart just, it was like I was going down a ramp. So I get it.
Commissioner, before
Yes,
you
ma'am.
start, I'd like to say something. Mary Beth, you have been a tremendous help to me the 2 years I've been a commissioner. I never have to wait for a return call. You always answer the phone. You give it to us straight. You're ethical. You follow the rules that we put in place. And I'm a rule player. And I love ethical people. I love moral people. And that's who you are. And I want to thank you so much for all you've done for us, and especially what you've done for me since I've been here in the past 2 years. And I know life will go on, and believe me, before I retired, I said I do what I do in DC to do what I do in Dunkirk. And you do what you do here to do what you do at your home with your 3 boys, your daughter-in-law, your husband, and your baby. That's what's important. Not all of this when all is said and done, but you've done a tremendous job. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. Well, be it known that on behalf of the citizens of Calvert County, Maryland, we recognize Mary Beth Cook's retirement after more than 31 years of dedicated service to Calvert County government. Mary Beth began her career with Calvert County government on April 19, 1993, as an engineer with the Department of Public Works. She was promoted to project engineer on July 10, 1995, then to project engineer 2 on July 1, 2002. Her exceptional leadership and commitment to public service led her to appointment as Deputy Director of Planning and Zoning on February 4, 2008. On January 3, 2020, Mary Beth was named Director of Planning and Zoning, a role in which she has served with distinction, overseeing critical initiatives and contributing significantly to the county's growth and development. As Mary Beth prepares to retire on January 10, 2025, her legacy of professionalism, dedication, and positive input will continue to inspire those who follow in her footsteps. The Calvert County Board of County Commissioners is pleased to confer upon you this Commissioner's citation given under our hands and seal this 17th day of December 24th, signed by all 5 commissioners.
It's your day.
I think it's your day too.
It's tomorrow.
I know what you put up with. That's some idea.
Just get everyone a little bit this way, because the flag is coming out of your head. Mary Beth, can you just go a little bit? And you 3 a little bit to your right as well. Perfect. 3, 2, 1. One more. Sad to see you go, Mary Beth, but happy for you. Thank you.
You have something to say?
I do, sir. Mark Willis, County Administrator. So I was very fortunate to have served as the Director of Planning and Zoning now almost 10 years ago. And I will tell you that a lot of people say that the American population should spend 2 years of service with the military. The heck with that. I think you should spend 2 years serving within planning and zoning, because you will see just about everything that will try your patience and give you joy at the same time. It's a tremendous responsibility. And I will tell you that I couldn't spell planning and zoning when they sent me up there. I remember running upstairs when I got that call, and I asked Mary Beth if she was staying, and I could not have done it without her. And that's simply the truth, because the amount of knowledge, and I knew Mary Beth in Public Works for over 10 years. And for her to have a civil engineering background and then go up and be my deputy within planning and zoning was just a tremendous educational benefit for me. So my success is actually standing right here. So the fact that she came in after me, I continued to learn in my position under the county administrator's position, because it never stops evolving. It never stops evolving. And we spoke about her morality and her ethics. I don't know that I've met anybody that upholds it the way that she does. So, with that said, I just wanted to shake her hand up here in front of everybody. Thank you, Mary Beth.
All right, the next item on the agenda is an award for the Department of Finance and Budget. I know Mary's sick, so I guess Beth or Bruce are filling in.
Good morning, Bruce Miller, Finance Director for the record. Before Beth reads the memo, again, I said earlier, but I just want to emphasize the tremendous amount of work that the staff went through to get this done. And I hope, Mary, everybody step up, because you all did such a fabulous job. You met Kathy this morning. She's the new budget analyst. Kelly, Mary Naiman with the grants. Casey, of course, all the help that she does. So with that. With that, please read.
Good morning, Beth Richmond, Senior Advisor to Finance and Budget, and thank you, Katie, for the assist. And just one thing on Mary Beth real quick. Sorry to see a Steelers fan leave Calvert County government. So now onto the business. So every year, we turn our budget into the Government Finance Officers Association, or GFOA. And they look at our document. Is it a financial plan? Does it provide guidelines to the operations? How does it communicate to the citizens? So after these reviewers rate each section at least proficient, if we get proficient by every criteria, we get this award. This year, first time since I've been here, we actually got special recognition. And that meant the reviewers all three reviewers gave the highest possible score in particular categories. So they gave that to our financial policy section. So in addition to getting the award, we got special recognition this year. And as Director Miller mentioned, it was a heck of a year. So we are very proud on that. And this is the 24th straight year that our county budget has gotten this award. So we are very proud of that. And I'm just up here because I like to talk, but really, all these ladies and our fearless leader are the reason why we get this award. So, and we always put it on the agenda because we want this recognized, but we also realize that the departments also play a vital role in our budget. They spend a lot of time putting their budget together. They answer our questions. So it's not just finance and budget, it's the whole Calvert County government.
So I do want to say that someone saw our agenda this week and sent us an email and said, how in the world did you get an award for your budget process, as screwed up as it was? And we all know, going through our last budget process, we had lots of citizens coming here saying how horrible we are at budget. But I just want to say that, this recognition we're not patting ourselves on the back. This comes from outside independent reviewers that look at our process and say we're doing it right. So for all those people out there that say how screwed up it is, it's not. People, professionals outside of Calvert County recognize the process that we use and have said we're doing a good job. So we, the five of us, greatly appreciate all the work that you all did, especially this year, as understaffed as you were and with the issues that we had. We greatly appreciate all the work that you all did to get us through that. So just want to make sure you know that.
We do, and we appreciate your support.
And if I may add something to that, I looked through some of the winners last night through. There was only 17 in the state of Maryland through the counties and the towns. So this isn't just given out to everyone. This is a recognition of
right.
hard-earned work. Thank you.
Okay.
Introduce yourselves and then come on up. We're going to take a picture. We get paid by the picture.
You met me once today, Kathy Schmansky.
Good morning, Mary Lehman.
Good morning, Kelly Gross.
Good morning, Casey Waldron.
Sorry, Bruce, there was no more room, so. Sorry, I didn't know the next picture.
Get back over there, Bruce.
Make it even.
All right, I think.
Good?
Alright, squish a bit on both sides.
Anybody want to hold the flag?
Alright. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, everyone.
No kissing the employees.
I know, we're ready to drive. Yes, right, ready. Yes, thank you. All right.
You're welcome. You have a wonderful day.
And if I may, take one more moment as I knock things over. I would be very, very remiss. There's one person is not here with us today, but she carried the process, was a very, very diligent worker, wonderful work ethic, and made it all happen, and that's Dawn Wood. So I appreciate her efforts and assistance through the process.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bruce.
Bruce.
All right, the next item on the agenda today is consent, and we have 7 items. Item 1, Department of Public Safety, Maryland 911 board funding request for mental health training grant application. Item 2, Department of Public Safety, Maryland 911 board funding request, communications training officers recertification grant application. Item 3, Department of Public Safety, Maryland 911 board funding request for headsets and wireless bases grant application. Item 4, Department of Parks and Recreation, Association of Aquatic Professionals Life Jacket Grant application. Item 5, Department of Planning and Zoning, Historic Preservation Tax Credit 2024-03, Hampton Historic District. Item 6, Department of Planning and Zoning, Historic Preservation Tax Credit 2024-02, Dessa Historic District. Item 7, Department of Community Resources, Support Planning Services Agreement with Maryland Department of Health. Is there any objections to the items listed under consent today?
I have none.
Have none, sir. I move that we adopt and approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the items under consent today. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item 1, Office of the County Administrator, 2025 Comprehensive Plan, Comprehensive Review Board. Sorry. Ms. Ashley Staples Reed.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Ashley Staples Reed, Special Projects Program Manager for the Office of the County Administrator. It is the 2025 Compensation Review Board, and I'll go ahead and read the memo. So for background, the Calvert County Compensation Review Board convenes every 4 years to perform the following duties by December 1st, 2025, as set forth by Section 9-405 of the Public Local laws of Calvert County. 1, to review the salaries set by law for Maryland County officials, review state and local laws and procedures following in Calvert County concerning the inclusion of benefits as part of the compensation of the county commissioners, make recommendations to the county commissioners concerning the compensation set by law for county officials, and to make a special recommendation concerning the inclusion of benefits as part of the compensation of county commissioners. The Calvert County officials include county treasurer, the county sheriff, Judge of Orphans Court, the county commissioners, the state's attorney, and the Board of Education members. So discussion, Section 9-405 of the Public Local Laws of Calvert County indicates that the Compensation Review Board will consist of 7 members, of whom 2 shall be appointed by the county commissioners, 1 by the legislative delegation of the 29th Legislative District, 1 appointed by the Calvert County Democratic Central Committee, 1 by the Calvert County Republican Central Committee, 1 appointed by the Calvert County Chamber of Commerce, and 1 appointed by the Calvert County Economic Development Commission. At least 1 member of the board shall have been a member of the previous board. Fiscal impact, potential salary increases and/or reductions will be determined by the Board of County Commissioners pending legislative approval based on the final recommendation of the Compensation Review Board. So conclusion and recommendation, it's requested that the Board of County Commissioners direct staff to begin the outreach process to the above agencies to identify their appointees. Staff will return for the BOCC appointment of their 2 appointees once all agency appointees are determined, so that the Compensation Review Board can convene and begin their deliberations in early spring of 2025.
Any questions?
Have none.
Discussion, motion?
I move that we direct staff to begin the outreach process to the persons and agencies with appointment authority to identify their appointees.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ashton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2 under new business, Office of County Administrator, grant of license to the used storage facilities, Think Big Networks. Ms. Ashley?
County Commissioners. Ashley Staples Reed, Special Projects Program Manager. So for background, I'll go ahead and read the memo. Think Big Networks, an internet service provider, currently serves Charles, Harford, Kent, and Queen Anne's counties and is committed to growing their fiber optic network throughout the state of Maryland. Think Big Networks has engaged the county and local homeowners associations proposing expanding their infrastructure into Calvert County, with the Chesapeake Ranch Estates in Lesby, Maryland, identified as their first expansion project in Calvert. Think Big Networks has requested the use of a portion of a county-owned land for the laydown of equipment, materials, and supplies during the duration of this expansion project, approximately 12 to 18 months. Discussion. The county has identified 15,000 square feet, which is approximately 1/3 of an acre, at Offsite Area A, otherwise known as Dominion Energy Regional Park in Lesby, Maryland, to grant Think Big Networks the right to use storage facilities. The storage area A and The storage area 1 in Exhibit A of the agreement is believed not to conflict with the future construction of the park development. However, a clause has been incorporated into the agreement to relocate the storage facilities to storage area 2 within a 15-day notice to the licensee in the event of a construction timeline change. Fiscal impact, license agreement calls for the submission of $1 from Think Big Networks for the right to use storage facilities through the duration of the agreement. Conclusion and recommendation is that staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners approve and authorize the board president to sign the license agreement on behalf of the board. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Discussion?
You good? Mike?
I looked at it, and because everything's in such a flux, I don't know that we'd be breaking ground on anything in between that.
I can't imagine, but we just put the clause in there to be safe.
Yeah, and I read that because at first that was a big red mark to me when I saw that, and then I saw the clause in there. And my frustration with that has been, but there's no one to be frustrated at. I'm just we're trying to get the right product there.
Absolutely.
And if anybody's know what I'm talking about, it's about putting the park there. And that has changed back and forth so many different times because once it's there, it's there. Once you got it. And, I think we're all trying to get the right product there. Because when I first saw that, I was like, oh, hey, but no, I mean, and that's something that, first of the year, we're going to have to sit back and talk with the Parks and Recs Board again, and what direction are we going? Because I think things have kind of changed potentially. So, and not to anybody's fault, but and with the clause in there that it can be moved if something, I think we're okay.
Correct, and it'd
So-
actually be moved to the same property, just where the Salt Barn area is currently.
Yeah,
so.
and basically we're just trying to make the park better than what we originally thought we could do. So and whether that comes through or not.
And in the interim, we would love to have fiber in.
Yeah. I haven't heard that one before, huh?
Right?
Yeah. So I don't see a problem.
Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve and authorize the board president to sign the license agreement on behalf of the board.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I do want to mention, we did amend the agenda, remove the item regarding the P3 for this public-private partnership for schools. Just want to mention the reason we removed that was because the presenter from the school was sick and couldn't attend today, so we're going to move that to a future agenda. But everything is in order and ready to go. It was just an illness that deferred that today. Okay.
I had inadvertently crossed out the Breezy Point. Breezy Point is still a new business.
Correct. And when I made I said remove item 4 for the record, it should have been item 3.
So we need to amend the record
Yes,
for
please.
that motion to say item 3 and not item 4.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is Department of Parks and Recreation Breezy Point Beach and Campground Camping Operation Update. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Bob Branham, Director of Parks and Recreation.
Good morning, Kirsten Perry, Special Facilities Division Chief.
Good morning, Mike Moradian. I'm the manager at Breezy Point.
Morning.
I'll start by reading the memo, Commissioners. Background, the Department of Parks and Recreation currently operates Breezy Point Beach and Campground in Chesapeake Beach. The campground portion of the operation has been primarily utilized by seasonal campsite renters who utilize the space for recreational vehicles from May through October. While historically there have been 70 seasonal campsites and 17 daily campsites, on November 7th, 2023, there was a consensus with the Board of County Commissioners to change seasonal camping at Breezy Point to short-term or daily camping only, with a maximum of 14-day rentals. As of November 1st, 2024, Breezy Point Beach and Campground has successfully had an entire season of short-term camping. Discussion. Several options were under consideration for the future of camping operations at Breezy Point Beach and Campground. The hybrid camping model is implementing a combination of both seasonal and short-term camping. This approach would offer flexibility to retain long-term renters while also capitalizing on increased turnover from daily rentals. Fiscal impact. Each model presents unique fiscal implications for Breezy Point Beach and Campground. Staff believes that aligning seasonal camping rates with comparable campgrounds and increasing revenue through additional short-term camping sites offers the best financial outcome for Breezy Point Beach and Campground. Conclusion recommendation, the Department of Parks and Recreation requests the Board of County Commissioners review the information presented by staff and approve the hybrid camping model's designation of spaces and rates depicted upon slide number 8 of this presentation. Mike, you have the remote for the slides.
So can I just for a second, just to remind the public that's listening in today, we changed the model last year because we had, as was mentioned in the memo, we had 70 seasonal campers and a limited amount of daily campers. We were getting a lot of complaints from people that wanted to get into the campground and couldn't because we had so many seasonal campgrounds. So last year we did make a change, but when we made that change, we said it was, we were going to go through a year, see how all that worked out, come back again, take a look at it, just figure out what, if there needed to be changes. So that's why we're here today, is to talk about this past year and what we want to try to do moving forward, just so people listening understand why we're here today. Okay? Thank you.
So our purpose is to review and discuss the type of camping being offered at Breezy Point for the next calendar year. And we use calendar year versus fiscal year because we run through 2 fiscal years, May through October. It's a 6-month period. Okay. It's not advancing, Katie.
You hit the slide. Here you go.
Okay. Background, as stated in the memo, the Department of Parks and Recreation operates Breezy Point Beach and Campground. So I won't read the slides, I'll summarize to say, in the interest of your time. But last year, we primarily had short-term camping. We only had short-term camping. The last full camping year we had prior to that was the hybrid model that we had for seasonal, as mentioned in the memo. But we had 70 seasonal and only 17 short-term camping sites at that time. Part of the issue was we have historically, for many, many years, received a lot of concerns from citizens as well as guests to the county that they can never get into camp at the campground. Reason being is when we open even short-term camping, by the first or second weekend, most of the prime dates are already booked. They book for the holidays and the weekends for the entire summer, and people are locked out because we had such limited space for the short-term seasonal camping options. So as stated, we also had a full season last year with the short-term or daily camping model, so we have some information to share regarding that as well. So the last year that we operated the hybrid model that we had in the past was 2022. We had to lose a season due to the beach restoration program. That's why there's a break in the dates. So again, 17 short-term daily camping sites, 70 seasonal sites, and our total camping revenue from both for the year was $301,614. This is a map of what the campground existed as at that time. So you can see the white sites is 1 through 17 on the slide. That was the short-term camping, daily camping. The other that are in color on the slide, the reason they have a distinction in color is that we charge a different rate for those depending on their location in the campground. But everything in color was a seasonal site. The rates are also included there for what the rates were at that time on the bottom left of the slide. So last year, we had 75 short-term daily camping sites for May through October, and our total camping revenue was $279,439. Gross revenue was roughly $22,000 less than the last time we had the seasonal as well as daily sites. That being said, our expenses were significantly lower. We actually net gained money from this short-term camping model. So what we're proposing this year is back to the hybrid model with some changes. So we think this is the best option to not only serve our seasonal campers' interest and secure that income, but offer more sites for our short-term or daily campers for increased revenue from those turnover on those sites. So we propose the 35 short-term daily sites, 48 seasonal sites, and then we shared the potential revenue here. Obviously, we shared the 100% potential revenue. We can't guarantee that we will sell every seasonal site and every daily site, but this gives you the idea of what the maximum potential income could be. So if we sold all the short-term daily sites every day of the summer, or the 6-month period, it's a little more than $400,000, and the seasonal income with what we're proposing would be $223,000 for a total of $623,500. And now we've put together a proposed map of what we're suggesting or recommending for the following season. So now you can see the white sites extend 1 through 17 and all the way through. That is the main road through Breezy Point Beach and Campground. So that's easy access for short-term campers. They can pull in and out without worrying about too much damage to pedestals or having to navigate through the beach and around seasonals. We've also highlighted in color the other options for the seasonal camping. And then if you see the lower left of that slide, and this is the slide that the memo asks you to review and provide direction on, we have recommended increased fees. We do have research based on like model campgrounds as well as other campgrounds in the area to justify these fee increases, but they're notated on the bottom. Blue being general camping, Little Morris for water view. Then we have canal on the left side of the screen. That's right along the water on the canal. And then obviously the more expensive option would be the beachfront camping there in yellow.
Bob, do you have different rates for out of county and in county?
We do not, sir.
I don't think we can because open space funds were used to secure the park.
Right.
That was gonna be my next question. At one point, I know we had discussed that, County Attorney, I see you motioning.
John Norris, County Attorney. President Hance is correct. Because program open space money was used to acquire the property, the county distinction is not permissible. Out of state might be, but I don't know how many out of state campers you have.
Because I know you're inundated with a lot of non-county residents. And, you know, I know that's been a lot of headaches on your guys' side for years, just to kind of trying to get in and out and everything else. So, I mean, at least if this can't be a burden to taxpayers, you know, they shouldn't have to pay for people that don't even live here. So hopefully this helps you be more fiscal.
Yes, sir, understood. The only time we had any ability to control residents versus non-residents was by direction of the health officer during the pandemic.
Right, I
Other than
remember that.
Right.
And, right, and that gave you a little more latitude, but,
Yes, sir.
it's almost a shame we can't send some of that open space money back sometimes, you know.
Well,
Strings. It's not, no money's ever free.
Yeah, ain't that a fact?
There are strings, so.
Yeah, I learned that lesson on sidewalks of Solomon's.
Yeah.
Did you find what you did last year? Let's put the money aside.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you happy with the quality that was within the campground? Did you feel like it was more family-oriented? Did you feel like the campers were more cognizant of that there were other campers around them?
So I'll give my perspective, then I'll let either Mike or Kirsten. And the reason they're here is not only for their job title. Kirsten is also a camper, so she offers that insight from being a camper. And Mike is the daily manager at Breezy Point Beach Campground. He has the best rapport or the most access to our campers. I will say from fielding concerns and having to reply to them when we get them through the county administrator's office, I had significantly less, still some, but less last year than I've ever had in working with Breezy Point Beach Campground. And while I wasn't the manager there, I was in the past for a short term. My history goes back about 22 years being involved with Breezy Point Beach Campground. Probably the least amount of concerns in total last year.
And you know that that's a hotbed at times, so to say that is good news.
As do you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know I know, yeah.
Yes. So, Mike, if you want to speak to your concerns from the camping last year?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So I perceived it as, well, number one, with going to all daily, we had obviously way more reservations than we normally would have under the previous model. So we had a lot more camping visitors, reservations than we've ever had before. And with that being said, yeah, as Bob stated, we probably had fewer problems than I've ever known. And I've worked on and off. I've been the manager there for the last several years, but I've worked with Breezy for a long time also, just off and on. So yeah, we had a ton more visitors, reservations, and almost to a T, everyone that checked out just said how much they appreciated, liked it, just really thought it was a great place to go camp, so.
Good.
Good news. That's
That
good.
is
That's
Yeah,
good to hear.
yeah, no, it was nice.
Because it's
So,
touchy, as you know. It's
I mean, you're always gonna have a few problems here and
Sure,
there.
sure.
But, yeah, but all in all, yeah, it was,
good.
yeah.
But that
way
being
less.
said, the reason we recognize that there might be a need to adjust to offer still more than the 17 short term, but bring back some of the seasonals because we weren't at capacity. There are certain times through the summer where camping or even the daily side of the beach will hit capacity around the holidays and certain weekends and things of that nature. We want to do our best to serve all the citizens of Calvert and the guests to the county. So we felt that maybe by offering a hybrid model to bring back some seasonal but extend some of the short-term camping would probably serve the campers best, be it daily or seasonal. So hearing that we share this, that the revenue was okay and that we still recognize that there were some vacancies. So we're trying to come up with the best idea to move forward with your direction to serve everyone in the best way possible.
Yeah,
So,
the money is secondary to me. I really am glad to hear that it was a great environment for our campers. I think that's the most important aspect of all of this. Do you feel the hybrid model might increase the possibility of some hellraisers?
Well, we've put in the presentation as well, some other recommendations that we'd like to suggest for the board's consideration.
Okay.
And it's actually on a later slide, and we can share those as well. And we hope to mitigate any issues from anybody, whether they're daily guests to the front side of the beach, meaning the visitors on the weekend, or even campers. So we're working to, again, mitigate any of those concerns moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have something?
I'll wait until the end.
Okay. So you saw on the last slide that we recommended a seasonal rate increase. Our general sites, which were in blue on the slide, were $2,375 for 6 months. We have recommended increasing those to $4,300. Waterview, $2,675, increasing to $4,500. Canal, $2,875, increasing to $4,800. And then for the beachfront, $3,075, increased to $5,000. And this is actually where we're talking about some of the other things. So for campers and for your awareness, pump outs, we have to bid that out to get a company to do the pump outs for the campers. And it was being charged to the camper for $50 per pump out. It actually cost the county more than that. The rate was
$51.36.
so we pay $1.36 more than it actually cost the camper to pump their camper out. So, and we also have staff accompany those. So it's also a staff cost associated with that. So we're recommending that we actually increase the pump out fee to $55 for this season, and we're gonna work for other options in future seasons. But we would like to increase that because we feel strongly that the county shouldn't subsidize the campers' pump out fee.
No, and I don't want to see you lock yourselves into 55 and you bid it out and the bids come in at 58.
Well, they can ask for a 3% increase, and they have year in and year out, and it's been approved. So if we add the 3% in, we still cover costs with $55 for this season.
Yeah, I just don't want to see you get locked in losing money again. And if you had a model where you bid it out and then you just add 10% to whatever the contract comes in or something, give you, I mean.
Our contract is good until at least 2026.
Okay.
So then we'll have to revisit it when we go back out to bid, but
And we
yes.
talked about some other models, but
Yes.
I guess you're not ready for that yet.
It,
but-
I think in the interest of time, we may not be able to do that before this season starts, is the reason. But yes, we've taken that advice, and we've already met with Public Works, and we're troubleshooting the ideas or the potential to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
So camping, for seasonal campers, historically, there's been an annual lottery when there's a vacancy at the campground, and it's a random draw, and we award it to whoever wins. And then they have return rights year in and year out. So in theory, if I won the lottery this year by this model, I could keep this in my family in perpetuity. And that also presents a problem because we have a lot of people that have concerns that they would like to be a seasonal camper, and there hasn't been an opportunity for them. We had a gentleman just join us maybe 3 years ago. He's a resident, doesn't live far from Breezy, and he said he's been trying for over 20 years and has never been able to be a seasonal camper. So we're recommending that we stick with an annual lottery, but truly an annual lottery, that every name goes into the hopper each season, and we do the draw and we award it. So if you happen to win 2 years in a row, that's fine, because it's a fair and random draw. But we feel like we should offer that opportunity to every interested camper each year. We offer temporary, we have to permit the entire campground, and I have confirmation that we still will have to permit for campers to put temporary structures. So, for the lack of a better description, they build small little decks or even pallet, platforms in front of their camper off the beach. And the staff actually have to go through the permitting process to get that done. And then we have to rely on each camper to provide drawings. So we still will have to do that. We are interested in permitting those temporary structures, but we would like to limit the size. One of the recommendations that we heard was if you use pallets, it's roughly a 4x4 platform, so we figure 2 pallets gives you the ability to get up and out of the sand, to kind of clean your feet or the mud off or the dirt off, and to enter your camping. So we'd like to recommend the restriction of a 4x8 temporary structure. Part of that concern is if we have a catastrophic event or a weather emergency where we have to evacuate, not all, but many leave that behind. And more of the damage to our pedestals, it's less likely from somebody backing over one than it is from that loose debris. That actually causes a lot of damage there when we have a tidal event. So we figure that's a small enough area that they can be taken up. If they leave them behind, which we'll recommend they don't, staff can get to them and clear the area much more efficiently as well.
So if somebody puts 2 pallets down, the county makes you get a permit for that?
Any temporary structure that goes down there, it was just confirmed because the critical area requires permitting.
Where's Mary Beth?
So Bob, on the lottery, can we open the lottery up for county residents first for a couple days before we open it up to everyone?
I do not believe
I
we
see
can
John
limit
over there.
access.
I didn't think so.
Nope. Open space.
Oh, I'm just a question.
When you use open space money, it's state money, so that means all the citizens contributed into that fund, so then all the citizens have to have the ability to use the property.
Commissioner Cox, I learned the hard way on sidewalks in Solomons. Taxpayers of Calvert County pay more money now just to maintain the shrubbery and stuff like that in the middle there. If we were just allowed to use common sense methods, we had to follow the state's guidelines because I don't know, took 50 cents or whatever. It definitely wasn't worth what it. So, yeah, I'm always like on those things. I'm always like, before we go into it, yeah. Back to those doesn't make sense methods. Yeah.
And then lastly, we are going to recommend that you direct us to host a mandatory meeting with our staff and the seasonal campers, and law enforcement is already committed to being there as well. We'd like to make the expectations of the campground known. And I'll share with you, some of the issues in the past have been campers who are late to pay their electric bill, but the county can't be late in paying that bill. Parking illegally, bringing trailers and campers into the campground and being a hazard or a problem in navigating the campground. So we just want to talk about our CCPR ordinance and some of the rules and expectations, and then also get the feedback of the campers. You know, we're there to listen to them as well, but we want to mandate that we actually have a meeting. We've never done this. We do this for many other things we do in CCPR, Parks and Recreation, but we've never done it with the campers. So we want to give them a platform to hear us, but also be heard prior to the camping season.
This is mandatory attendance?
We are going to recommend it, and we will offer a virtual option as well.
Yeah, because that way they don't have an excuse that they didn't know the rules.
Sign a contract.
Yeah, because later they're going to say, well, I didn't know, and so that
And we
is
do have a
good.
contract, and we are gonna, based on your direction today, we'll update the contract. Actually, we're kind of behind the 8 ball. Typically, in years past for seasonal, we would have already had contracts vetted through the county attorney's office, delivered to campers, and we would have already taken deposits for the future. So we will work, based on what the outcome is today, very diligently to get this going as quickly as possible so that we can hit the ground running. We start taking reservations typically in the 3rd week of February. And like I said, for daily camping, most of the season, the weekends and holidays will be gone before we hit March. So, and in conclusion, so the Department of Parks and Recreation requests the Board of County Commissioners review the information presented by staff and provide direction on the hybrid camping model to be used in the next camping season.
Question?
So, no, I want to thank you for revisiting this and putting it together. I know it took a lot of time and a lot of figuring, but I think it was the right thing to do. I'm glad you've done that. I'm excited to hear about your rules and regulations, and I think that meeting's a great idea. Make sure your rules and regulations include all your problems you've had in the past.
Yes, sir.
So that hopefully they won't happen in the future. I see it firsthand at least every other day, sometimes every day. And I agree with you. I mean, weekends and holidays, it was packed for the most part. During the week, it was not so much. So hopefully this will give a good balance to that. Personal contacts. I mean, everybody, kids be sitting there fishing when I would come in from crabbing, and I'd stop, talk to them, throw them a crab for bait or whatever. But everybody that went there was positive. Everybody I talked to, I mean, what do you think of the campground? Oh, I love it. They knew who I was. So it's good to hear that impact for those kids. And like you said, flooding. You're going to have to evacuate that campground probably more so now than ever. I mean, we have some crazy tides. I mean, you can't have electric cords laying in water, and people are going to have to understand that. Which is also going to be a challenge for people who do have seasonal camping to be able to get in and out of there and to get their campers out. I saw one, I guess, during one of the super high tides, decided he was going to stay. It wasn't long, he moved to higher ground. But no, it's important, and like I said, it's the safety of everyone as well. And I've seen people, I worked there as a police officer doing security for years, and I mean, they had these huge decks and everything else. I think that's a smart move. I mean, I know it's nice for them to be able to have that deck, but I mean, we can't have it. I mean, if you got to get out of there quickly, you need to get out of there quickly, and that just kind of hinders that progress. But Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Well, this is a great presentation, and as long as you all are happy, you all are the experts, I'm happy and I'm for it. Any reservations on this at all? You feel this is the right way to go?
I think it will be nice because
Good.
the biggest issue that we had last year with the short term as a camper is I camp on the weekends, right? So during the week, that's why it was so vacant. So I think having this hybrid, we're still gonna have campers there during the week because we're there the whole season, but then still having the option for others to come. So I think it's the best of both.
Good, good, thank you.
You have a different rate for weekday campers as opposed to weekend campers?
For the short term, yes, we do.
Yeah. Good. And I think you should mandate that, to attend that meeting.
Yes,
So
sir.
you don't have any issues with, I didn't know that was a rule.
Understood.
I mean,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a simple thing. If you're allowing a virtual component, then they have no reason why somebody can't watch.
Some of our campers come from far and wide, so that's why we'll make sure we have that virtual option.
Even if you record it and they can see it at a later date or something, require them to at
Do that
least
as well.
watch it. Because, you know, they sign papers all the time, but, and, you know, maybe they won't hear it even if they watch, but you need to provide every opportunity so they understand the rules.
It is a lengthy contract, so.
Is part of that gonna be consequences if they don't adhere to the rules?
Yes, sir.
So it's-
We've actually already started talking with the county administrator, or county attorney's office, about citations as well. So we can have some teeth to enforcing our rules.
Normally, it's the partying is what we hear the most about, because, you know, people come there to, I know it's a toss-up, people come there to party and have a good time, other people come there for the solitude and quiet, and so it's,
Yeah, historically, most campgrounds have quiet hours. We have the same expectation. Again, we get it. You're there to vacation and you have a different interest than maybe what your neighbors do, but there's still an expectation beyond a certain hour of night for noise and behaviors, as well as there are other things that we just have to draw a hard line in the sand. It's a critical area. You can't dig in the sand. You can't plant your satellite dishes, things of that nature, and we'll make that very clear to the campers in the future.
Well, Bob, you know you're not inventing the wheel. You know you go to other campgrounds. Some of them are so strict,
Yes, sir.
you know, and you understand why. So, I mean, can't imagine why this would be something new, you know. I mean, some of them, like you say, you know, after a certain time, they don't even let you drive the golf cart around.
Right.
Because they don't want any noise to. So, I mean, I think, you know, you're going for a respect level of each camper.
Just get the point, I was gonna say, just get the point across that camping there is a privilege. That's the main thing.
it's a great place.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, people don't realize until they go there.
Yes, sir. I make a motion that we approve the hybrid camping model, designated spaces and rates depicted upon the slide 8 of this presentation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that motion?
None.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
That concludes new business. One item under old business, Office of the County Attorney, additional request for state legislation.
Morning, Commissioners. John Norris, County Attorney. I'm joined by Jennifer Moreland, our Director of Community Resources, who has one of the first items. Just as a reminder, the Commissioner system of government is the oldest form of local government in the state of Maryland. Commissioners have only those powers specifically granted to them or implicitly needed to exercise those powers by the General Assembly and signed into law by the governor. Because you have only those powers, we consider what you might need to have for the next years coming forward. 3 additional requests warrant consideration. The first request is from Ms. Moreland. It is the excise tax relief for caregiving of aging and disabled. It is a deferral program so that the excise tax that's collected for a building permit would be deferred and collected at a later point in certain circumstances. So I'll let Ms. Moreland address that.
Thank you. So Commissioners, I come to you today because longevity is important. And the best way to age is to be with your family and get that support. So our goal here is giving people the space to age in place. We've had a number of families that have had this objective but run up against the cost barriers. There are going to be cost barriers anytime you add an ADU to your home. But this is one that we believe we can control and recoup when the house is sold. So as you notice on this legislation, you won't see a lot of specificity because this gives more flexibility to create those terms internally. But the goal here is that we could have reduced costs or an exemption for those families that are providing family caregiving, and in the case that they are of low to moderate income. So, what we know is that 1 in 5 families provide caregiving, and that is not paid for. 20%, that 20% of the population is providing unpaid care. So this is a way that we can help them in their challenges in doing so. Our population that is aging is growing, and we've talked about this for a number of years, since 2020 to 2030. It's going to grow by 30%. We have wait lists for affordable senior housing up to 4 years. So being able to age in place or to live with family is ideal. We have a number of different agencies that will help with the cost for renovations, Christmas in April, Habitat for Humanity, and even churches. A lot of the local churches will pull together to help parishioners or people in need in the community. But this is an obstacle. This cost is an obstacle. It's $5,150 for a bona fide elderly unit ADU right now. And there honestly aren't a lot of ADUs issued on average. So if you look at the past from 2021 to 2023, 5 ADUs a year. And of those, they don't break out how many are for this particular scenario. But if you guess that this impacts 20% of the population, 1 or 2 of those are probably for this purpose. For those, on average, they bring in $41,000 total a year for ADUs. So it's not a huge expense to the county. And then we deal with illegal ADU enforcement cases through planning and zoning. There were 5 cases last year. So that's the other side of this is if they can't do it, then you deal with them doing it not to code and running into issues with, mold, electrical, all sorts of things that can happen when something's not properly done. We did coordinate on this legislation with our planning and zoning office, and they are in support of this as well for that reason. So you have before you the annotated code local government article 136-13. Our office will support as is needed for eligibility review for these cases. Office on Aging works closely with the population. Our long-term care coordinator reviews these cases for a number of different other programs. So this should not be a burden, especially when you consider the number. And then we don't have a designated place for proceeds because, again, to create that flexibility for the county to determine where it's most needed. So it's kept very general. I think Commissioner Norris really helped me with that. Or not Commissioner Norris. I'm giving you special status, County Attorney Norris.
Is he one this year?
Yeah.
No, sir.
He really assisted. Hey, you never know. He
John
really
just got a
assisted.
demotion.
Too flawed for that. No.
You're young. That's what they tell me.
Jennifer, what is the impact on staff to monitor this, to make sure everything is being done, that Ts are crossed, Is are dotted, that those individuals that truly deserve it will be getting it, as opposed to someone who just doesn't? Do you have the proper staff to monitor this?
We do. We have a number of programs already in place for this population. So to cross-reference the income requirements, the documentation that's required for all of those programs, we mentioned the support planner program earlier today, it is very similar. And I think our staff want to be able to see these kinds of programs in place as well, because they realize that if there's barriers like this, not only are they going into institutionalization, but sometimes people are left really in situations where they're in improper living situations.
And it would be something we record in land records as we do today. In fact, I saw one this morning that was a garage that was going to be refinished and would have a full bathroom with the shower, and they signed an affidavit saying it would not be used as an accessory dwelling unit. We would have something that is recorded in land records to say that the excise tax that the state has given you the authority to impose and that you've levied is being deferred and can be collected upon the conditions no longer being met.
What is the AMI number now, Jennifer?
Well, it depends on, so you're talking about 30%?
Well, I
AMI.
see 80% here.
So 30 to 80%. It depends on the number of people living in that household. So if
Okay.
you were caring for 2 people, it would be
Gotcha.
more. But you can generally, it's interesting because that 30% and 80% are about 30,000 to 80,000 for a single family
Okay.
or for
No,
a single
no, perfect.
person. So if you add a little more to that, you'll get around the right number.
Okay.
Is that also income driven for retirees, or how does that work?
Do you mean the AMI? It's just
In order
purely
to
looking
qualify.
at, AMI is just looking at income, doesn't matter what source, doesn't matter if it's social security, doesn't matter if it's, they're still working, whatever the circumstances are. And 80%.
Any other
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
questions, discussion,
I have none.
motion?
We're asking for the board to support, no support, or take no
Yeah.
position.
I support it.
I'm
good. Motion?
Make a motion to, I didn't know if it was consensus or what it was. Make a motion to support it.
Second?
A motion and a second to support. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
You
you.
may not want to stay for
Thank
this.
you.
Commissioner.
So at the Maryland Association of Counties' most recent meeting, I was asked if we still had an elected treasurer in Calvert County. And I had to say we are one of the last 5 in the state of Maryland that have
That was 3.
statutory. Last check, I believe it was 5.
Really? Jeez.
Yes, sir. We proposed, or I have proposed, that the current position be eliminated at the end of the current treasurer's term, so that the treasurer's office responsibilities would then be rolled into the Department of Finance and Budget's roles and responsibilities, and the director would select the treasurer, or make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to select the treasurer. It would be a contract position. The most recent that I'm aware of was Charles County converted, and that's been about 8 years ago. They had an individual that ran for the office with the sole purpose of converting it to a appointed position by the Board of County Commissioners. This proposal models a lot of the things that their best practices and the lessons that they learned in how it's incorporated into the Department of Finance and Budget. So we're asking that the board consider this as a legislative proposal. We have some insight that it's going to get a mixed reaction from our delegation and senators when it gets to Annapolis. Some are supportive of the concept, others are supportive of a different approach that they've proposed a couple different times.
Did you say it would be a contract position?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
So that it would be directly responsive to the Board of County Commissioners and not necessarily become a merit position that's insulated. And part of that was to try and address some of the concerns that I've heard from one of our delegates, that the position needs to be responsive to the public. It cannot be insulated and sit behind a desk and not be responsive and not take into consideration what may be presented to them.
And the name would be suggested or recommended with all the background information needed. We would review it, and we as commissioners would make that decision.
That is the concept, yes.
Okay, and if the person isn't working out, how easily would we be able to get rid of them?
Well, there's always termination for convenience provisions in the contract where you purchase out the remainder of the contract. If there is actionable items that have not been concluded correctly or done properly, then there's termination for breach of that contract that may not include payouts.
Include a payout.
I'm assuming the contract.
Depending on the termination of the contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm assuming the contract will look very similar to the contract employees we have now.
I mean, that's at the direction of the board, but staff would recommend that you follow something similar, if not the same.
Because merit employees have protections and there's processes in place, and it's
Harder to
much
get rid of
harder
them.
when you
Yeah.
have an issue. If there's no history, you have to
Right.
build a history,
Right.
as we've learned. And with a contractual employee, if you can show that they're not meeting the conditions of the contract, it's pretty easy to terminate, and you don't have to do those payout issues.
Yeah, I do not like the payout concept. I don't. If you're not doing your job, if we've worked with them, I don't see rewarding them and putting the county under the fiscal responsibility of paying that person out and hiring someone else. So I definitely am opposed to payouts.
But I do think with the contract employee though, to make sure that you get a decent person, because if I was putting my livelihood out there, basically flying without a net, I would want to make sure, if I met my conditions, not because you just didn't like me, that I would not lose my job. You know how politics are. And I mean, unfortunately, we work in a political environment, so, it's like careful what you wish for sometimes. So, and I'm not trying to build a climate where we could get on the hook. I'm not saying that, but to get the best people, I would want for myself clear, defined terms that if I met what I was asked to do, and you just don't want me, we don't get along, whatever. Yeah, you're writing a check because I have put out personal time and my family maybe and everything else like that. So I think that's as long as it's fair.
So, like we can't litigate good behavior, we can't litigate people
cannot.
making good decisions.
You cannot. But
Same
I
thing
just
with
would want a fair
contracts.
contract.
If the parties just don't get along, there may need to be some compensation paid for ending it early.
Because a lot of times people and maybe you should bring an attorney with you at everything you do in today's world, but I just don't want to, me personally, come off as I don't want to get the reputation of don't work at Calvert County because hey, we don't like you, you're gone. I don't want that.
It has to be fair to us and fair to them.
Yes.
It has to be written correctly.
Yeah.
And a payout for somebody who is just not personality related, but just is doing a horrible job. I don't want to pay out for something like that.
Right.
And personality should never enter into relationships. Our personalities are all different. And if you don't like someone, if they're doing a good job, they're doing a good job. Personality should have nothing to do with it. I manage people that I personally didn't care for, but as long as they're doing their job, my personal feelings have no bearing. I don't like that in the workplace.
What I like about it is the contract piece, one person. So all the citizens of Calvert County is going to report to that person with a complaint if they have it. And that way it's going to go back to their office and to us. So they do have a voice here instead of going out to the whole treasurer's office, it's to one person.
And it also brings accountability and consequences along with it as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a win-win.
And
I agree.
the timing on this is it would have to pass this session so that there would not be a primary in 2026. Because if it goes into effect as ordinary legislation, it would go into effect October 1, 2025.
And just like everything else, the citizens have us to come to, like they do now, whenever they have an issue or a concern. And the treasurer's position has changed a lot over time. It's not like it used to be, and we have some issues today, which has brought this discussion to light, if we're all being honest. And,
Motion.
just, Well, I just want to reassure people that this isn't about a power grab. We're not trying to take over other people's responsibilities, but, it's a matter of making sure that county functions are done appropriately and properly, and that there aren't things going to the wayside because just because you're elected doesn't always mean you're accountable.
Agreed.
You
We
know,
have to address an issue. at
the
the end
five
the
of
day.
us are elected to the position. That doesn't mandate that we show up every week. It doesn't mandate that we do our jobs. We can float for 4 years.
And then they'll let you know.
And then they'll let you know, or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
You might not make it that long. They might let
Well,
you, yeah, they'll let you
Well,
know.
you're there for 4 years.
Yes,
You're
yeah,
gonna do
well,
anything
true,
illegal.
true,
You're
true.
there.
And the citizens need to know that what we have in place now is not working for them. It just isn't. We don't take this lightly.
No.
We have got to find another avenue because this is not working for the citizenry of Calvert
It's
County.
costing us money.
Yes.
Which means
And
it's costing
so-
taxpayers money.
Costing taxpayers money. And, we're just in a situation where we have no other recourse. And, so, yes, if there's a motion.
Make a motion that we support the county treasurer's position restructure following the current term.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that motion?
None.
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have something else, Mr. County Attorney?
The
Or
last
Commissioner
item,
Norris?
the last item was actually brought to us by one of the delegation who will have to recuse himself from this. But he brought it to my attention, you may have already known, that taxes based on mobile or cellular phone antennas are not based on the assessment of the value of the antenna. In Calvert County, speaking with Justin, the assessment is, once a tower is built, the assessment on the lot is created to that of a building lot. So these towers are easily $1 million. They have foundations that go 60 feet into the ground and can be a quarter acre across. There are antennas that are attached to those towers as well. So we looked at some of the ones that I know have been hanging antennas on county, either water towers or cellular towers that we constructed as part of the 911 project, and found that while companies like American Tower reported $27,000 in personal property, and personal property should have included all the antennas that they have hanging in Calvert County. Black Dot has reported, I believe they were the ones that were almost $2 million in personal property. So there's great disparity on the reporting of personal property, and there's a disparity in different counties how they calculate the increased value for the tower in the real property. So it looks like we could be on the losing side of both sides of those tax calculations. This is merely to start a conversation. This legislative proposal is to start a conversation in Annapolis about standardizing how both the real property taxes are impacted when the tower goes up and how the personal property taxes should be verified for the antennas that are hung on those towers so that the counties receive the revenue you're entitled to. At personal property tax rates, $2.23.
And you remember what you and Jackie went through when you brought up the 911 system? I was going to bring that up. That was a revelation that I'm sure most here in the county did not know. I'm sure the taxpayers did not know. Taxpayers were really on the short end of the stick of that because I guess maybe at that point technology was nowhere near where it was today. So it wasn't really looked at as costly as it was going to be. And you remember that ultimatum from the state on that 911 system, and if not, you guys and staff, I mean, we would have been on the hook for millions and millions of dollars instead of where we were today. So, yeah, that's
And certainly part of the outreach we're going to have to do is the landowner under their lease to the tower company may be the one that's responsible for those real property taxes for the tower. So we're going to need to make sure that the county residents that lease land to tower companies are aware of that potential impact and mitigate it through their leases, either what they're paid or who's responsible for paying the taxes.
So in Mako, we learned of an issue on the Eastern Shore where someone leased their property for a solar farm. Didn't realize when they signed the contract, they agreed to pay all the personal property tax.
Right.
Got a pretty sizable tax bill that they weren't expecting, so.
And they can't put it back on the tenant because they
No.
have the lease.
Yeah, they signed the lease. So your proposal is to standardize just for Coward County or for the whole, to look at, for
Well-
them to look at the whole state?
I believe my reach is Calvert County. I believe it will start a discussion for the entire state.
Okay. Just looking for clarification.
Yes, yes. So it is going to, the request is that it be submitted to our delegation, but I expect others will, and it may go to a study committee, but it'll at least start the conversation.
Gotcha. Any other questions, discussion?
No. I wanted to ask you one thing. Is this a wrap-up of all that we're going to be asking for legislatively? Do you anticipate anything else?
It's all that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I do anticipate, if the board's agreeable, bringing you more information about bills that you may be asked to take positions on as the session starts on the 8th, so that you have,
Starts on January 8th.
yes.
Wow,
Till the following deadline in February.
Did you want to go back to the Mako meetings or?
I had my 2 years, and it was nice. It was.
You learned a lot,
but-
I'm sure.
But you do learn a lot, and honest to goodness, it's an opportunity. You will love it in the end.
Is there a motion?
So I'll make a motion that we support cellular tower taxation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on that motion?
None.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you very
John.
much.
Thank you.
So you're just gonna send a letter to the delegation advising of those 3 additions?
We're going to send them a full packet, including these 3 additions,
Okay.
so that when they get started, they can have it in their hand running with the baton.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
a mental picture. Thank you very much. So the next item on the agenda is a presentation. It's a Board of Elections, a 2024 wrap-up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
guys.
morning. You have all good news.
Good morning, yes. Gail Hatfield, Elections Administrator, and to my right is Kristen Scott, our new Deputy Administrator for Elections
Wonderful.
now.
Congratulations.
And I know a lot of you maybe have not met my staff in person, but,
We're going to.
okay.
You
That's
can,
why
yeah, you can announce them after you finish
We
your
wanted to-
presentation and
okay.
bring them on up.
Yeah, let us meet them. I'd love
Yes,
to meet them.
that's why I wanted you all to be able to see the names and put the faces together and meet all of my staff, because that's the wheels behind me there.
We know they do all the work.
Of course, we know that, that's right. So yes, I am excited to bring you this update, because this has really been a historical election. I mean, basically, yes, it's historical. This was the highest amount of voters Calvert County has ever seen, ever seen come out to vote. Basically, where's the button?
Oh, it's right there.
Do I push it? Okay. Here, you do the button. Okay. So this year, we had about 78% voter turnout.
Wow.
That's right. That totals up to, we have 69,000 some odd voters, right, on our registration rolls, but 54,122 of those actually voted.
Good job.
Physically?
You know?
Yeah, that's
Physically, not mail-in, physically, or?
This is between all 3.
Okay.
And this is telling me that out of that 69, 54,122 actually showed up. You can see on that graph, there's how many we had that were eligible. And you can see the bottom graph, how you see that giant increase
Upsweep,
is the upsweep is of how many actually showed up and voted by mail, by early voting, and also at the polls on Election Day. So that's, that gives you, you know, and I mean, just for past history, in 2020, we thought that was one of our highest turnouts. but that was only 49,000. So we had 49,000 back in 2020. But in 2016, we had 47,000. So we've really come up in with 54,000. That's a 78% turnout, and that's the highest amount we've
Go
had.
back to your other slide,
Sorry.
Okay.
please.
Yeah, so this is
So 43% of those people voted early.
voted early, yes. And I'm going to give you some numbers of how many people. So early voting is really picking up. It's really doing
love it.
well.
Is that
I'll
in person
love
or
it.
mail, or both?
No, early voting is in person.
In person.
Yeah, so when we go to the next slide, I'll show you that out of that, for the early voting, as you can see, we had 23,340 that actually voted at these 3 sites in those 8 days. You know, the highest we ever had before was when we just had the community resources. We had 14,324 show up in those 8 days. So can you imagine if you all had not granted us those other 2 sites? We would never have been able to accommodate 23,000 in that one spot. So because of you all giving us 3 sites in the county now, it has really spread out and allowed more voters to be able to vote early. As you can see, Ward Farm Park, look at them, they're right behind us. We had over 8,000 voters show up at that little trailer in Ward Park. You know, they were kept busy all the time, just like us. And Southern Community Center, I know that's our lowest turnout, but it has really increased. So the last time we had Southern, we only had a couple thousand, or, you know, it was very, very slow. So Southern Community Center, it's finally getting out there, and they are starting to show up. So I just wanted you to see those numbers. I mean, at 23,000, with us having 3 sites now, has really, really helped out this county. And because we would have never, you saw the lines at 14,000. There's no way we could have done 23,000 in one site. So that is to let you know, and I'm sure the public is very appreciative of having those 3 sites.
Remember that COVID year?
Yes.
Standing there.
That's what I'm
blaming me.
saying.
So like
They
so
stood
like,
for 2
nice
to
line,
3
Mike. I'm like,
hours. Yeah, I mean, these were no waits. The highest wait time during our early voting might have been 6 minutes. So these were no wait times. I mean, 2 to 3 hours down to 6 minutes. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's very awesome. And so that's why I wanted to let you all see that, because that's showing you that it is working. So that gives us that 23,000 of that 54,000 was just early voting. And then I think in the next slide, we'll show you that the early voting was, this is just some different years right there, but we have 18 precincts, 17 different locations. So this was election day. On election day, at those 18 precincts, we had 18,625 that showed on just election day. So that gave us, and then we also did the mail. Well, this is showing you too that the, let me see, it's from 2012. You see, 2012 was way back when early voting wasn't, you know, going on or whatever. This is just showing you how the election day has gone down in turnout for the election day. But that's because now we have mail-in voting and we now have the early voting. So it's kind of like split half and half. It's like 50% are election day, but the other 50% is now divided up between the mail-in ballots and the early vote, which allows us to go down to those 18 precincts. That allowed us to, there are less people left to come out on election day. So now I can actually have maybe 6, 7, 8,000 people registered in a polling place, because I know there's only going to be between 1,000 and 2,000 that is left to show up on election day. So there were no lines on election day either. So this really helped too with us having so many come out for early voting. And the next slide, I think, shows us, then we go to the mail-in voting. So in the mail-in voting, we actually had 12,579 is the total of our mail-in ballots. And 54% of that 12,000 actually used that Dropbox. So I'm excited because that means more are starting to use that Dropbox, which saves me money because then we're not paying that postage coming back. So the more people, and the Dropboxes are so secure. I mean, we have cameras on them 24/7. Our staff goes out and picks up the ballots, a couple times a day just to make sure that there's nothing really left in those ballot boxes for very long. So that is starting to increase also. So that gives us that total to get up to that 54,000 was the 12,000 something in the mail-in ballot. And as you can see, that is starting to rise again. 2020, that was we don't even count 2020. Everyone got a mail-in ballot. But as you can see from the other elections, 2022, now up to 24, it is still beginning to build more. So the more people that vote by mail and the more people that vote early is the reason why we're having less on election day, which is less lines, which is what I'm excited about. And I'm glad that more people are, participating now in these elections. So the next one is, we want to talk about the election judges. If it wasn't for our election judges, of course, they are the backbone in there. We trained over 327 election judges to work the polls this year for early voting and in election day. And they also came in and helped us canvass all of those ballots because we were allowed to count some of the ballots that we had prior to early voting, which really helped us not to be overwhelmed, as much. So they worked not only just one day, but many of them worked 3-4 days, each of these election judges. They may have worked 3 days in early voting, then they turned around and worked on election day. Then they turned around and they came in and helped us canvass after election and canvass these ballots. So to me, it's, yes, they're being compensated, but to me, it's still like community service. These election judges, it's their heart and soul. I mean, they really come out to help us during election. So they're basically what I call our heroes of the election. Without them, we would never be able to do it. And we've never had that many election judges before. They come and they stay. It's like, once I get an election judge, it's like they're part of the family. That's what I tell them. Y'all are part of our family now. So, and there's a lot of people that help to make this. It's not just me. I'm just one person. It's not just Kristen. She's just one person and my staff. But you can go to the next ones. There are many, many, and I want people to know that there are so many different departments in this county government that really come together and pull for me. I can't do this alone. I can't be, a deputy. I can't be out there helping get those election judges back on time to get those results to you guys as fast as we possibly can without the sheriff's department. They patrol, they go through during the day, they make sure peace is, kept at all the places. Communication and media. I couldn't do this without this. They're out there putting it on the Facebook. They're putting, things out there to let us know, to get the word out for the voters. General services and highway. I mean, they're putting those signs out for me. What can we do? What can we do? They hang the banners. I can't be in all those places at once, but they happily come and they get it. Human resources. I have to go through them and really work hard to get those temps. If I didn't have those 6 extra temporary employees, we don't have enough hours in the day, let's put it that way, to get through that. Finance and budget, without them working to try to make sure I can get those temps and work through the budget and make sure that we can switch this or do this or whatever we have to do. So I appreciate everything they did. Parks and Rec, Bob, his team, the trailer, everything that we did for early voting. Parks and Rec, they were there for the community centers. And the county administrator's off, me bugging Mark, what can I do? How can I do this? What else can we get?
You should bug him more, apparently.
No, I think he gets bugged quite enough. Community resources, that's our building. I know they hate when they see election. It's almost like they all want to go home and telework. So I appreciate them putting it up and sending all these lost voters that are in their departments downstairs and technology services, especially this election. I mean, Stephen and his team were right on it. I mean, we had bomb threats. We had, so many hate things coming through. They were trying to get through our firewall. I mean, and he told us, they were 24 hours a day trying to keep everything out of it. And you wouldn't think that would happen here too, but it does. So they really were vigilant at keeping us safe during the election. And also, there's one that I didn't put on there, but really, really needs kudos, and that is the school board staff, the staff of those schools. Because we have so many of our precincts are in schools. They had their custodians there at 6 a.m. They're the ones that kept those restrooms clean for the voters that came in. So I couldn't do it without saying a thank you to all of the school staff and everything through there. And also to you all. Without you all, I can't do this. You put those 3 early vote centers in, that was a godsend to all of us. So I just wanted you all to know that it does. It takes what I call a village. It takes a village to run an election. And of course, my staff, I can't do it without my staff. I mean, that they are my backbone. It takes all of us to work together as a team to be successful. Calvert County is a great place to live and work. And I want to thank everyone who worked so hard to ensure this election. And every election in Calvert County is successful, always. So I'm just here to thank everyone and let you all know that it was a rough election, but it was a great election and historical.
Well, I want to thank you and Kristen. You're being very modest. I know it takes a village, but Calvert County is, oh my God, the bomb threats coming, boy, we have changed as a county, haven't we? And a couple of incidences we had in previous elections when outsiders came in and wanted to make sure every vote counted in Calvert County. Every vote always counts in Calvert County, and it's because of you all. I've watched you close down machines. I've watched you open them. I've gotten numbers from you. I've done canvassing. The beauty of Calvert County is its people and the leadership that we have. You all do a great job. I mean, we're stellar. We could teach others how to do it, most definitely. You all do a great, great job. And I appreciate you, and I know all the other county commissioners do as well. Thank you.
We appreciate it too. After getting yelled at for so many days, it's so nice to
We
hear.
never yelled at
I mean, no, not you all. It's just that we try to be as transparent as possible so that anybody is welcome to watch anything that we do. When we seal voting machines, when we count ballots, we open it up to anybody in the public to be able to watch and see for themselves, because I think the biggest problem is misunderstanding or misinformation. They don't understand the process. And when they see it, they can see it for themselves that we tried to do everything as transparent as possible and let everybody see that it's all good. It's all right. It is.
You're above board. Just spend one time with you all opening and closing down. You'll see how great you all are with running fair elections.
Very good.
We appreciate it.
Thank you and your staff.
Yeah, well, thank all of you.
Can we meet your staff?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
All right. So you all need to
Come on up,
at
introduce
the mic
yourselves.
At each one and introduce yourself.
Yeah, come on up to the mic.
Don't be
Don't be
shy.
scared.
They all like to hide too. They hide behind me.
So I would like to say, everybody I dealt with when I voted was extremely polite and appeared to love their
Yes,
election judge job.
they love it. I mean, I have people that were election judges here in the county and then they've left our county, but they continue to come back to our county because
To
they
be
said, but
judges.
this is where my family is, you know.
I heard it's because y'all eat well.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, they do eat well. I do travel around on election day to check them out. They eat well. So, yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Lana Bice, election registrar.
Shari Moran, Executive Administrative Aide.
Teresa Mulhern, Elections Registrar.
Michaela Sleeper, temporary employee.
Erica Gant, Office Assistant 2.
Timothy Keith, Election System Automation Coordinator.
Rob Yench, Election Systems Automation Coordinator.
We just want to thank all of you for what
Thank
you do.
you.
We wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Thank
you.
you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. All right, you guys have a great
Thank you,
holiday.
Gail. Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
I believe that brings us to public comment. Mr. County Attorney?
Thank you, sir. We do have one caller on Zoom. The board adopted a resolution in 1989 intending to maintain the order and decorum of the governmental process. Copy is found here to my right. Persons are welcome to address the Board of County Commissioners on any matter germane to the business of county government. Those addressing the board shall not be uncivil, rude, vulgar, profane, or otherwise disruptive to the conduct of the board's business. All speakers must identify themselves, and whether speaking as an individual, you'd be allocated 2 minutes, or as the appointed spokesperson of a group, where you'd be allocated 5. Please press star 9 if you wish to speak and you're attending virtually. The Ethics Commission has asked that we remind speakers of public comment that lobbyists include those who seek to influence public policy, and lobbyists must register in advance. So caller, last 4 digits, 4262. You press star 9 to raise your hand or star 6 to unmute yourself. Identify yourself and whether speaking as an individual or as the designated representative of a group.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Bob Estes. I'm representing myself, and I'm not going to talk about stormwater management. What I do want to do, though, is to thank Commissioners Ireland and Hance for showing up at our extraordinary Eagle Court of Honor this past Sunday. We had 11 Eagles attending, and it was a great eye-opener both for the Eagles and to all that participated. And it's important that they see their local people there to support them. And again, my hat's off to you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is the only speaker, Mr. President.
Well, that brings us to Commissioner reports. Commissioner Cox.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to have you at the helm of the Commissioners again one more year. Congrats to Commissioner Allen for Vice Presidents there. Let's keep in your prayers this week the McGuffin family who lost a loved one this week. Also, the Commissioners was at Mako this week, so we did not get to attend the last BOE meeting. I do want to say to Anais Claggett, Dawn Belinsky, and Antoine White, thank you for your public service. We did have a good tree lighting ceremony here at the courthouse, cold, but it was well attended. Like I said, last week we were in Mako with the county leaders, learned a lot about the situation Maryland is in and navigating forward. Last Saturday we had the Home for the Holidays parade, and I see President Hance supporting his,
I don't know where that came from.
His trophy, not as big as your tractor, but yes. Well attended, and I promise next year I have more oranges for everybody.
They were a big hit.
I just want to thank staff also. They were wonderful to deal with the people, and everything was going on that day. So thank you, staff, for participating in that. As the holidays remind us to cherish the time we have with family and friends as we celebrate this season, I hope each of you finds peace, joy, and gratitude in the simple moments that mean the most. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all.
Thank you. Mr. Ireland?
So Commissioner Cox touched on the Christmas tree lighting. It was a great evening. Like I said, I was there last year, I was there this year, and there was more people there this year. And it was quite a bit colder. But next year I told them we have to have hot chocolate. We have to do that. December 7th, there was a Christmas parade in North Beach. Very significant crowd for that as well. They did a nice job putting that together, and the weather was beautiful. As Commissioner Cox said, we were at Mako last week, and like I said, the state did present a lot of problems, and looking forward in the near future, it doesn't look very bright, but hopefully there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel, and that will improve. The Christmas parade in Prince Frederick, the teamwork that went into that by staff was second to none. It takes a lot to coordinate something like that. It was greatly improved upon last year, and I thought last year was good. There's going to be challenges moving forward if we change the parade route again. Julie, that's for you to figure out, right? But thanks to everyone that was involved in that. As Bob Estes said, I went to my first Eagle Scout presentation. I'll let Commissioner Hance touch on that. I don't want to take his thunder. December 16th was a 4-H Christmas party. Went to that. It was last night. And Debbie Jones and James Bateman, they put together a lot of time for them to make sure those 4-H kids in Calvert Heritage 4-H group have a good experience. Just like to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy your time with family and friends, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you. Commissioner Hart?
Oh, hopping up to me. Okay, I was a little
Danger
unprepared. I'm used to the thing. Okay. Congratulations, guys. You know, it's presidency job is just so time consuming. And I've watched it wear on the health of folks. So I would say it while you're sitting there, you know, and look, I love Commissioner Weems just like family and a brother, and I watched what it did to him. I got to see it firsthand. So I've always thanked everybody for doing the job because it, although we all have the same vote, the demands are a little different. So because, I mean, you know, when it's always all our fault, but a lot of times it gets said it's your fault. And that's kind of like my uncle used to say, the fleas come with the dog, you know. It's a long time, you know. But, you know, so I always thank everyone to do that. It's the McGuffin family, I definitely want to pass my condolences. John is a classmate of mine. And kind of on that subject, had my class reunion. Calvert High, and I tell you, this is going to sound corny when I say this, but you know, sometimes God gives you gifts and you just don't really understand that it is. But growing up here, for me, was a gift from God. It truly was. I got to be, in my opinion, an extreme special place, and to see my classmates that I haven't seen in so long, because everybody's busy. It was really cool. And I want to, before I wish everybody Merry Christmas, and well, I'll get that away because you know I talk so much. I want to wish everybody very, very Merry Christmas.
Something else I know before
You know this is where I'm going. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you said, why does he have this helmet up here and this? Obviously, he was never big enough to wear that helmet because God did not put me in a football player's body. And you guys know how much I love my town and my home. And so I pulled this off the internet, just a quick snapshot before getting to my story. So it says the Patuxent Panthers varsity football team from Lusby, Maryland won 14 games in the 2024 season. Overall 14-0, in the region 8-0, and in the entire state ranked 12. And here's the big part. The Panthers defeated Dunbar 8-6 in the Maryland Class 2A/1A state title game, denying Dunbar its 17th state championship. Now, just kind of wrap your hands around that for a minute. Now, Dunbar's enormous. If you don't follow this stuff, they're huge. And it's not like in the NFL or college where you can recruit people from all around the state and free agents. Patuxent's so small that they're actually next year putting us down in a smaller class because we have so few people. So if they don't go undefeated, but they go in the playoff process, we may be going to Western Maryland to play a playoff game.
It's beautiful up there.
It is. It is. It's a long drive. So let me tell you a little bit about this. So a few years ago, most of the members on this team played Dunbar at the Naval Academy. And it was hard fought. I mean, Dunbar's kids are fast. I mean, they are They pump out Division I kids all the time. I mean, they are fast as lightning, and there's just so many to choose from. And we had them on the ropes down to the final 2 minutes of the game, and we lost in the end. So now here we go, fast forward to just a couple weeks ago, and like I said, the score was 8-6. I don't know if you follow football or not, but so we scored a touchdown, 6 points, 2-point conversion. Did that in the first quarter. And it was cold, Jack. It was cold. So in the third quarter, they scored, but they didn't get the 2-point conversion. So now we're hanging on here 8-6 with a team that can score like that. And, you know, everybody's always partial to their town, as I am. I always think Patuxent always travels really well, but I tell you, I felt bad for some of the kids at Dunbar, because when I'm on our sideline and I'm looking, I'm sitting in the stands, we're everywhere. There was a ton of us. Friends, family, people from the town, and you look across and Dunbar had very few. And I felt so bad for those kids, because some of these kids, this is the last football game they'll ever play. And to not have the support of the town and your friends and family, I thought was really sad. And, I mean, we'll show up for a chess tournament. It don't matter. If PAX is somewhere, we're there, you know. So we're down in the fourth quarter, and we stopped them a couple times. You know, one time we stopped them on our own 1-yard line. And if you follow football, you know, and you watch a lot of the old things, they'll say, you know, you'll see these old coaches go, they know what we're going to run, but we're going to do it anyway. Make them stop us, you know, and all these rah-rah Hollywood stuff. And a lot of times, life is not Hollywood. A lot of times the underdog doesn't win, you know. Sometimes, you know, things just don't work out like you want. But this was one case that it was truly a David and Goliath story. And now here we are at the end, and we got the ball, and they're beaten up. They're bruised. I mean, it was a extremely physical game in the cold. And we didn't try to fool them. It was a run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle. And we just kept grinding out these first downs. We never had to give them the ball back. And it was truly, truly something to see. And the fans in the stand, the family members, everything, I mean, I think we were happier than the kids. I mean, you know, they just to know what those kids have played together since they were Little League Solomon Steelers, you know, all the way through, and some of this was going to be the last time they were on a field together, and it was just truly emotional. I mean, I just love them so much. I mean, the town is just, to me, it's just so special. It really gets personal, and I was so happy. And I tell you, I don't own, like, you know, you guys go hunting and all. I don't have those hunting clothes. I got normal clothes. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm in the car trying to text the scores to people, and my buddy, he's got regular clothes like that. And I'm like this. I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm shaking all over, and he's just cracking up laughing, and I'm trying to text the score to folks to know what it was. And
It's like a baseball score.
yeah. I mean, and it was I mean, you know, when they won the time before, it came down to a field goal. It was so, no one was getting out of those seats. I mean, and it was, and I know we'll have them in there, but I just, it was, boy, it was just, the town will talk about this. I mean, we're a small town. We'll talk about this forever. And I just can't congratulate them enough, and all the folks of Calvert County. Like I say, you know, it's, we're just such a small county, you know.
The stories on Facebook circle back to Steve.
Kraus?
Yes.
Coach, He's I mean, and I'll tell you, watching those programs as close as I do all the time, our kids, I mean, it's emotional and it's physical, but they don't act up, you know. And I mean, I've sat there at some games and I've heard stuff that I know I wouldn't hear here, you know, and it's just, yeah, the incredible stuff. They care. They truly care about those kids. And I'm not speaking bad about anybody else. I don't know. I just know this program on a level, and it's just, they just truly love those kids. And the time in, I mean, they practice Thanksgiving Day. You know, I mean, it's 6 days a week. I mean, when you get in that program, you know, hey, this is what we do. But academics come first, don't go to school, you'll not play. You know, how you carry yourself, how you act. I mean, just how, I mean, even you go watch a play. I mean, it's just the whole community. So, I mean, I know I'm just gushing over them, but it was truly to lose that game a couple years ago in 2 years to get back and all the lifting, the weights and everything. So I'm just over the moon for them all. And sorry for all that.
Was that 17 consecutive years that they had won that state?
No,
Okay.
no, but that program is just, they just don't lose,
Right.
you know, and
Yeah, they do.
yeah, yeah. And those kids, I mean, they were crying. My son said that they were like, well, you finally beat us, you know, and because I think they beat Calvert last year in the playoffs, I believe it was. I don't want to be wrong. But yeah, they, phew. Boy.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So, and Merry Christmas.
Commissioner Grasso.
Well, congratulations to Patuxent.
Yes.
There you go. I attended the 3 days at Mako. Didn't do much of anything else. My husband and I celebrated a big anniversary, and we were out of the country. And I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Deserve. And Commissioner Hart, the last few times when they lost, he was on me. We need to bring them in. They got this close. No, Mike, we can't do that.
I remember the baseball season. We were like 24-1, you know. And then you know it's funny. So you'll get me talking
I'm
all
sorry,
day.
I cranked
I know.
it.
So, you start, so look, the team we beat to get to this game was a team that knocked us out in baseball, where we had to go. And you know, this is where I get my small town thing, where we had to go all the way across there. That baseball game, God, didn't end till like midnight or so. So there was a few whispers. Well, we knocked you out in baseball. We're gonna knock you out here. Didn't happen. And then we went to Dunbar. So yeah, it's a little hometown pride, but that's all.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No, it's good. So I too attended the tree lighting. Want to thank Jake's Produce for donating the tree. Want to thank the Calvert Garden Club for doing the decorating around the courthouse for us. Want to thank Economic Development, Public Works, anybody, all the county staff that has decorated the town. Makes it look really hometown holidays. As I've heard many people say, it's like a Hallmark day when we do the parade and have all the activities. So
We just need 3 inches of snow uninterrupted and some pictures now.
bonfire, marching
And hot
band.
chocolate.
Just, yeah, hot chocolate.
Yeah, we need hot chocolate.
Yeah, it was a little chilly that night, and but got you in the spirit. And,
Most people stayed for it. There was a couple that left,
Yeah, a
which
couple
she knows who I'm
bailed on us.
talking about.
And the following Sunday, I went to Beach Elementary. They finally dedicated the school up there. It took them a little while because of some issues, but it was a great event. That school replaced a school that had been there for 70 years. So hopefully this school will serve them well for the next 70 years. But the school's beautiful. If you haven't been go up to the beach, just drive by and take a look at it. It's beautiful right there on the marsh. So also went to Mako. I think that what I took out of Mako was that we're in the worst budget crisis we've been in 20 years. And I think some of us know what happened the last time the state was in a budget crisis like this, because they don't like raising taxes. What they like to do is push costs down to us, so we have to raise taxes and we get the blame. But it's going to be a tough year in Annapolis because of the budget issues that we face. The good news was the governor that night in his speech said that they are going to revisit Blueprint, try to make some adjustments because of some of the conditions of Blueprint are a little tough for some of us to meet. So that was sort of good news that at least we're going to maybe see some relief on the Blueprint plan. Want to congratulate again Mayor Mahoney, who has retired from public service, over 30 years of public service. That's quite an achievement, and decided to retire. And this Thursday night, they're going to swear in a whole new council and a new mayor, Mayor Wall, who was mayor before. So that happens Thursday night. Just want to congratulate all those members. And we have kicked around on this board, we should kick it around some more, of staggering terms, because they have a whole new council in Chesapeake Beach. And as I think my new members would attest to, it's quite a challenge when you walk into this job brand new. And they're going to have Mayor Wall, who's been there before, but it takes a little while to get your feet under you. And we've talked about that we should look at staggering terms for the board, because try to not have that happen. Because I think St. Mary's County, not too long far back, did have a complete changeover in a board. So,
Yeah, they did, and
Yeah.
because I remember it was my first term,
yeah.
and they only had one member, and I'm like Commissioner Hand said, it's all you're all learning, and I said, man, what's going on? He said, 4 new members. I mean,
Yeah.
you just it's just you just don't know what you don't know.
No.
So
You think you know, but you don't.
you think you right.
Yeah. Everybody thinks they'd be great till they.
Yeah.
So-
And you have to have transparency in government so everybody knows what page the commissioners are on.
So, and Sunday I attended the Eagle ceremony, Commissioner Ireland alluded to when our caller talked about. So we were at St. John Vianney Church here in Prince Ruddock where Troop 430 is housed. What the right term is, they certified 11 Eagle Scouts. It's amazing. I mean, I've talked about it before. These young men and women that go through that program and attain the level of Eagle, history has shown that they go on to be great citizens. I was told by somebody, whether it's true or not, no Eagle Scouts ever gone to prison.
I would believe that.
And that there are many Eagle Scouts that have served in Congress and high leadership positions. Astronauts. But this program at St. John Vianney, I don't want to get anybody mad or anything, but they do an outstanding job. I don't know what their rate of Eagle Scouts are, but it's got to be up there amongst the best.
Well, the nationwide rate is only 4%.
Only 4% of us scouts attain Eagle. And at Troop 430, it's got to be 50% because I attend all of them, almost all of them, and I don't go anywhere as much as I go to St. John Vianney.
So we determined that both of us were in scouts and we were part of the 96%
Yeah,
that
well,
didn't make it.
I'm part of the 96.
You're bringing down the percentage.
I'm a failure. I have to admit,
to
I'm
Eagle
a
Scout.
failure.
But no, it was neat.
my God.
Hearing those kids tell their stories and thank yous, and it was great to hear. Great to hear.
Our own Kevin Hook, who works in the school system here, most of you knew his father for sure, has 4 sons. All 4 of them attained Eagle Scout, and he wasn't even a scout when he grew up. We've done ceremonies where brothers and sisters have gotten Eagle. I did an Eagle ceremony at Huntingtown Church. A 14-year-old young man attained Eagle. You have to do it before you're 18, and many of them struggle, and we'll tell you the stories of how they have to be pushed to make it by the time they're 18. It's just such a great program, and I have to thank the volunteers and the parents for going through all that work and efforts. Without the volunteers, there wouldn't be a program. But to see those 11 Eagles up there Sunday was something else.
Mentors, coaches, some of which are teachers in our school system here.
Yeah, it was.
It was good.
Yeah, it was. So get your kids into the scouting program. Also, we want to remind everybody the zoning ordinance public comment period ends on December 20th. You have to have your comments in by 4:30. There's going to be a planning commission meeting on December the 30th, 7 p.m. at the Harriet Brown Community Center. There's a revised draft for the Prince Ruddock Town Center plan in place. There'll be a meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at Harriet Brown to discuss that with the Planning Commission. I think that's all these things. We had a great dog in here this morning. If you're lonely, go to the animal shelter, find something that fits your needs. Just want to take this opportunity to thank Commissioner Grasso for her service last year as Vice President. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. And want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and safe and happy holidays. Please take time to spend with your family and friends and spend a little time in church and remember why we're all here. So with that, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we recess to closed session pursuant to 3-305B. 1I, to discuss the appointment of appointees over whom the board has jurisdiction. 2, 1II, to discuss a personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. 3, to consider the acquisition of real property for a public purpose and matters directly related thereto. 4, to consider a matter that concerns the proposal for a business or industrial organization to locate, expand, or remain in the state. And number 5, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. And 6, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Exec session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we move into exec session. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.